let's shift gears to one of our favorite things to do on the show. Is play around with the playoff machine, and we're going to do this every week now. We're at the kind of midway, kind of starting towards the back end of the season here in the NFL, where every game is going to matter for just getting into the playoffs, your seeding and all that. So we're going to start doing this probably on every Saturday show, going through the games, selecting the winners that we think are going to win, and see how this impacts the playoff picture. And then we'll play around with just, all right, what happens if this team wins and this team loses? Can this team get in? Because everybody's kind of real close, folks. There's not that much separation in the league. There's, what do we got? There's probably about 3 trash teams. The Lions are not going to make the playoffs. The Texans probably don't make the playoffs. Jets, Jags don't make the playoffs. I think those are probably the 4 worst teams in the league that don't have anything really great offensively or defensively. But then everything else is just kind of right into the mix. Everybody's real close here in the NFL, which is going to truly make the playoff picture in all these games so much more entertaining, so much more competitive, and just so much more weight, because everything is close. You lose one game and that could decide if you make the playoffs, don't make the playoffs, if you're the 2nd seed or the 5th seed or the 7th seed. It's really going to come down to kind of one game at the end of the day. You can go to this website. It's ESPN.com. It's their playoff machine. You just click winners and then it changes all of this. Whether, if the team wins, obviously it changes for the better, and you all know how it works. You win, your record changes, and you win. You add a win to the win column, folks. We'll play around with this, and we'll also see what the machines say. We've got our video queued up as well, the game picks and win probability and all that, and we'll see what the machines say about the wins as well, and see how they see this week shaking out and what happens with the playoff picture in that regard. But let's stop all the explaining on what the playoff picture and playoff machine is all about, and let's start picking some winners here. So in the AFC, the Titans are the number 1 seed at 8-2. The Bills are the number 2 seed at 6-3. Ravens 3rd seed at 6-3. Chiefs 4th seed at 6-4. Patriots are the 5th seed at 7-4. Look at that. The Patriots are the 5th seed in the AFC. Absolutely wild. Steelers 6th seed at 5-3-1. And the Chargers the 7th seed at 5-4. And then in the NFC, the Packers are the 1st seed at 8-2. Cardinals number 2 seed at 8-2, Cowboys 3rd seed at 7-2, Bucks 4th seed at 6-3, Rams are the 5th seed at 7-3. Saints are the 6th seed at 5-4, and the Panthers are the final seed, the 7th seed in the NFC at 5-5. So let's talk all through these matchups here, pick the winners, and see who is going to be in the playoffs heading into Week 12. So here we go. First game up here is the Colts at the Bills, and this is a no-brainer, but Bills win this one, no problem, no debate. We love the Bills -7 as well. This Colts team is not good. I just watched Hard Knocks last night, folks, and first of all, how little underwhelming. I don't know if Hard Knocks has that same magic in the NFL season now that we've got everybody talking NFL, where in the offseason, Hard Knocks has like the exclusive look in one training camp. We don't really need that exclusive look during the NFL season because we're all getting the exclusive looks. Like, we don't need the extra. So I don't know if this is truly hitting. Nobody's even talking about Hard Knocks. It was a good episode. It was classic Hard Knocks, but it's like, does it have that same magic, that same je ne sais quoi? I don't think so. But either way, the Colts showed me nothing in Hard Knocks that had me buy this team any better, any more. I don't really love this team overall. Been lackluster all season long. But this Colts team, they can't move the ball offensively. This Bills defense is great. They're going to easily eat up this Colts team. I really don't see this Colts team winning at all. But Bills get the win. They improved to 7-3. Still stay the number 2 seed, but we'll see if anything changes as we start clicking the winners for these other games. So we'll count the Bills, get the win here this week. All right, then we get Washington at Carolina, and I like Washington to win straight out. I'm not believing that Cam Newton is ready to run this offense quite yet. I think Washington can take it to him. We just talked about Ron Rivera knowing the essence of what Cam Newton is good and what is not good at, what he can and cannot handle, and I think Ron Rivera will have a special defensive game plan to shut down Cam Newton, and we'll see Taylor Heinicke just play game manager and kind of win the game for this Washington team. Now, we know Carolina has a good defense, but overall, at the end of the day, I'm going to take Taylor Heinicke over Cam Newton. So we know that Carolina has the 7th seed coming into this week. Let's see what happens when we click them losing this week. Does anything change? They still stay at the 7th seed, but we'll see if anything changes as we click the winners in the NFC and all that. So we're going to say that Washington gets the win this week, folks. All right, then we get the Ravens at the Bears. Matt Nagy coming off the bye. Absolutely trash record, 0-3. We've seen this line jump. No Allen Robinson this week for the Bears, and that's definitely going to affect this Bears team 100% because they don't have that many weapons in the first place offensively, definitely at the receiver position, and they haven't really been utilizing Allen Robinson as much as they really should be. And that goes to Matt Nagy because he's the one calling the plays out here. So this Bears team is nothing great. We're going to have the Ravens winning this week over the over the Bears. Can't see this Bears team winning. They're holding Justin Fields back. They're not letting him kind of do what he needs to do to win the game, which is kind of a healthy balance of run and pass with Justin Fields like they're doing in Philadelphia with Jalen Hurts. It's so easy for Matt Nagy. All he has to do is watch what the Eagles do and do the same thing. Like they're kind of identical personnel-wise in the offensive unit. Kind of same dual threat quarterback, young dual threat quarterback that has good arms and good legs, can move the chain, can believe in them, can rely in their ability to get it done. Don't have A1 tier 1 wide receivers, has good wide receivers. The Bears have Allen Robinson, who they don't use. The Eagles, they have Devontae Smith, who they do use, and they're starting to win and do better offensively. So they've literally got like the same blueprint they should, but we see one team struggling and one team getting better every single week. So we love the Ravens here. We get them the win, and they still stay the 3 seed, even because Buffalo does win. Now, if we do switch this to the Colts winning, does this increase the Ravens moving to the 2 seed? And it does, and the Bills would actually drop down to the 6th seed. But let's wait, and then we'll click around after we pick all the wins because we got to get a nice baseline so everybody's at kind of 10 or 11 games overall. So things change a little bit more, but we will switch it around and play around to see what happens if this team wins instead of this team and all that. But we are going to predict the Ravens win. Then we get the Lions at the Browns. This one's an easy one. The Lions. Dan Campbell's taking over play calling duty. Yeah, we'll see if that works. It's not. And the Browns at home here need a win off of their shellacking that they took against the Patriots last week. So we'll have the Browns winning. So far, that doesn't increase them into the playoffs just quite yet. Then we get the 49ers at the Jags. Alrighty, this one's going to be interesting. I think the 49ers are going to pull it out. And now with the Panthers losing and the 49ers winning, the 49ers get into that 7th seed. Ooh, this is what we're talking about, folks. Everything is so close that games are truly, if you lose, you're going to probably lose your spot on a weekly basis because everything is so close. People are half a game back, maybe even 1 game back. They're ready to take that spot. So 49ers can get into the playoff picture this week. They need the win. They need Carolina to lose. And I think both of those things happen. All right, then we get Green Bay at the Vikings, and this one's going to be a good game as well. Division rival, and I think the Vikings are turning the corner. We took the Vikings plus 1 point. We're believing the Vikings get the win. We're going to say the Vikings win. Let's see what happens to the playoff picture. If that happens, then the Vikings get the 7th seed. So the 49ers, they could also not get this 7th seed if they do win. The Vikings have the tiebreaker over them, and the Packers do drop down to the 3rd seed with the loss here. Arizona moves up to seed number 1. Cowboys move to seed number 2. So a lot of shakeup here. Once again, one game could truly decide a lot of seeding here because once again, everything is so gosh dang close. But let's keep it up here. Keep going through these weeks of games. We get the Dolphins at the Jets. This isn't going to change anything, but we're going to take the Dolphins here. We're taking that -3.5. We believe they can win outright against Joe Flacco, who hasn't won a game in a year. He had 4 starts last season, lost them all. Okay, good luck. Alrighty, we get the Saints at the Eagles, and this one's a tough to call. I really don't know. We stayed away from this one, picking no Alvin Kamara, so I'm going to go the Eagles winning here at home, and the Eagles don't get into the playoff picture quite yet, need a couple of more wins, but we do see with the Saints losing, they drop to the 6th seed, and the Vikings are now, the Saints drop down to the 7th seed, and the Vikings go up to the 6th seed, so the Vikings could potentially not be in the playoff picture before Sunday's game and then move to the 6th seed at like minimum. That's kind of good, folks. That's crazy. Once again, everything's so gosh dang close. Are you seeing it now? It's visualizing now. This is why we got to start the playoff picture a little bit earlier than what we usually do, because there's just so much that can happen on a weekly basis here, gamely basis, that changes the entire picture. All right, we get the Texans at the Titans, and we're going to obviously predict the Titans here, so they are going to keep the number 1 seed this week. Then we get the Bengals at the Raiders. Going to be a really good matchup here. Let's see. We'll come back to this game. We'll pick this game last just to see if it changes anything, because both of these teams are kind of in the hunt, just not in the picture yet. So we'll pick this game last. Let's move on to Cowboys at Chiefs. Going to be a good one as well. I'm going to count on the Cowboys getting the win here with their defense, and we'll see if this Chiefs offense is truly the real deal or not this week against a great Cowboys defensive-led team. We're going to predict the Cowboys get the win. We've got them +2.5 in our official picks. So with the Cowboys winning, they could move up to the number 1 seed. We still have to pick the Arizona game to truly see if that's for true or not. But with the Chiefs losing, they could potentially fall out of the playoff picture, and the Raiders sneak in at the 7th seed with just the Chiefs losing. So once again, everything is close here, folks. Every game truly matters. You can go from the 4th seed to out. You can go from out to the 6th seed just like that. No problem. All right, then we get the Cardinals at the Seahawks. We're going to predict the Cardinals win this game. No DeAndre Hopkins here. We're expecting Kyler Murray to go. This is still a game time decision here. So if Kyler Murray does win, Cardinals probably win. If Kyler Murray doesn't play, then I'm sure they probably lose. But let's say that the Cardinals win, and they will be the number 1 seed this week because we do predict Green Bay loses. All right, then we get the Steelers at the Chargers here. Big Ben is good to go this week, but the Steelers defense a little bit of banged up with the COVID-19, some injuries, all of that. So we're going to say that the Chargers get the win here, and the Chargers stay the 4th seed with the win, and the Steelers, because they lose, now we get the Bengals and the Raiders in the playoffs at the 7th seed and 6th seed, but we still have to pick that game. Here we go, the last game, the Monday night game, Bucks and Giants. We're going to predict the Bucks win, and nothing changes with the Bucks winning. So now let's predict this final game here. Bengals at the Raiders. I don't even know who to choose in this matchup. It's going to be, I think these are two really, really even teams that both desperately need a win out here. I'm going to say that the Bengals get back on track with the win. And alrighty, so now that we've got every game predicted on who we believe is going to win this week, we've got the playoff picture set. So in the AFC, Titans still seed number 1, Bills still the number 2 seed, Ravens still the number 3 seed, Chargers improve to the 4th seed, Patriots stay the 5th seed, Bengals go up to the 6th seed, and the Steelers, I believe, stay at that 7th seed. So Chiefs fall out of the top wild card spot, and the Bengals get inside as well. That's what we think is going to happen this week. And then in the NFC, the Packers lose the number 1 seed to the Arizona Cardinals. Cowboys are the number 2 seed. Green Bay falls to number 3 seed. Bucks stay at the 4. Rams stay at the 5. Vikings jump to the 6th seed, and the Saints stay in the 7th seed. Now let's play around in some of these matchups that are still close and all that to see what is going to happen if some of these other teams get the win. So let's say the Raiders beat the Bengals this week. What happens if the Raiders beat the Bengals? Then the Raiders will get that 6th seed. So it's really going to depend on who wants it more here, the Bengals or the Raiders. They both can get in the playoffs with the win here, and we'll see which team can get the win. So we're going to go back to the Bengals getting the win here. Alrighty, let's see what happens if the Colts pull off a major upset over the Bills. What happens? The Bills could drop all the way down to the 6th seed. The Bengals could go up to the 5th seed, and the Patriots would get the 3rd seed because they'd have the division lead at that point. So the Bills, this is a big game. You could lose the division lead here because the Patriots just won against the Falcons on Thursday. So a big game here for the Bills, and we obviously believe that they can get it done, no problem. All right, let's see what happens with the Panthers. Let's say the Panthers beat Washington. What happens at that point? Panthers get the win. Panthers go to the 6th seed, and the Vikings can still get into the playoffs with the win as well. So Carolina potentially could stay in the playoffs with the win. If the Chiefs beat the Cowboys, Chiefs will stay at the 4th seed. Chargers go all the way down to the 7th seed. Steelers get knocked out. In Green Bay, actually, who do we just move here? Chiefs. All right, yeah, Chiefs. Okay. So that doesn't impact Green Bay. They move up to the 2nd seed. If Green Bay wins, obviously they will still stay the 1 seed. Arizona stays the 2. Cowboys stay the 3. And actually, the 49ers come back into the playoffs with their win and Vikings loss. So 49ers, if they want to get in the playoffs, they need a win and a loss there by the Vikings because the Vikings hold the tiebreaker, seems, over them. Alrighty, what else we got? What if the Steelers upset the Chargers? That'd be a pretty big upset. The Chargers would fall out of the playoff picture, and New England would actually fall down to the 6th seed, and the Steelers advance to the 5th seed. So some big movement potentially here for the Steelers. Win or lose, it's pretty much seeming like the Steelers will stay in the playoff picture this week because of that tie, kind of saving them a little bit. But they could go all the way up to the 5th seed, and the Chargers could potentially be knocked out of the playoffs by this week's end. What do we get? What if a big upset? What if the Texans beat the Titans this week? How much of an upset would that cause? That would cause the Titans to stay at the number 1 seed. Really don't see them losing this number 1 seed. The Titans lose, the Bills win, the Ravens win, the Chargers win. The Titans still stay at the number 1 seed. So the Titans, win, lose, or draw, will still be the number 1 seed at the end of this week, folks. Alrighty, now let's head over to what the machines are saying this week. We're not going to talk through this video that much, but we're going to see what the machines say, who is going to win this week, and then we'll see how our playoff picture differs from the machines' playoff picture on these wins. So let me take a picture of this because this is what we expect the playoff picture to look like with all of our wins here. And we will see what happens with the machines takeover. So here we go. First game up here. The machines say that Chiefs win 29-26 over the Cowboys. Okay, we don't agree, but we'll see what happens there. Alrighty, so they say Chiefs win 29-26. Next game up here, the machines say the Packers win 26-22 over the Vikings. So they're not in our same believability that the Vikings are turning the corner and can go toe-to-toe with the Packers here at home. We'll see who's right, us or the machines here. All right, that next game up, they've got the Cardinals beating the Seahawks like we do as well. Smart machines. Okay, then they have the Chargers beating the Steelers 26-21. We have the Chargers winning as well. Smart machines. Next game up here, they have the Bengals beating the Raiders 25-23 like we say as well. Okay, little discrepancies between us and the machines in the first 2 picks, but we're seeing eye to eye here over the last couple. They have the Bucks beating the Giants 29-19. I think that's a little bit of a no-brainer. We hope that the Giants can be a little bit competitive, but we'll see what happens. Hopefully the Bucks can clean up the turnovers as well. All right, then they have the Bills beating the Colts. They say it's going to be a little bit closer than what we say. They have the Bills winning 27-21 over the Colts, where we had the Bills probably winning by about 14 points. We would feel comfortable with the Bills swallowing 13.5 points, honestly. And we'll talk about that on tomorrow's show about odds and all that, last second best bets. So they had the Bills beating the Colts like us. Okay, we can keep going here. All right, then they had the Browns beating the Lions. Yeah, once again, no kind of brainer there. They have the Browns winning 29-17. Okay, they have Panthers beating Washington 25-20. Okay, we don't agree with that, but we will switch it over, see what happens after this big win by the Panthers. They're believing in Cam Newton. The machines are fancy on Cam Newton. Interesting. Okay, then they had the Saints beating the Eagles 23-21. Alrighty, we don't agree with that. We like the Eagles here this week without Alvin Kamara. The Alvin Kamara news broke before or after this video was published, so the machines might be a little bit heavy on Alvin Kamara. But they had the Saints winning 23-21. Next matchup up here, they have the 49ers beating the Jaguars 26-18. Smart machines there. No way the Jaguars win. This 49ers defense just took it to the Rams fantastically. All right, then they have the Ravens beating the Bears 25-21. Once again, smart machines. Overall, the machines are usually pretty smart here. They don't get every pick like the Cowboys probably pick. They probably miss. All right, then they get the Titans beating the Texans 30-16. Once again, easy pick there. No objections on our side. They have the Dolphins beating the Jets 24-20. Once again, smart machines. Alrighty, a couple more games left here. One more game? Nope, that's the end of it. Alrighty, so now that the machines have their picks in, how do the machines' future compare to our future? So in the AFC, according to the machines, the Titans will have the number 1 seed, which we agree with. The Bills will still stay the number 2 seed. The Ravens stay the number 3 seed. The Chiefs will be the 4th seed, where we say the Chargers will be the 4th seed because we do have the Chiefs losing against the Cowboys. Patriots are the 5 seed. Bengals are the 6th seed, and the Chargers are the 7th seed. So according to us in the machines, the Bengals get into the playoff picture this week, folks. If you're a Bengals fan out here, it's great news for you. They're getting into the playoffs this week with the win over the Raiders. Alrighty, and then on the NFC side, they have the Green Bay Packers retaining the number 1 seed because they get the win over the Vikings. Then that means the Cardinals are the number 2 seed. The Bucs will be the number 3 seed, and the Cowboys fall to the 4th seed because of the loss to the Chiefs. The Rams stay the 5 seed, so unfortunate news for the Rams here. You don't play this week. So it's you don't really change your seeding. So I guess that's good news if you're the Rams. You're going to stay put. You're not going to move up. You're not going to move down this week. Saints are the 6th seed, and the Panthers will be the 7th seed because the Panthers get the win over the Washington football team this week. Alrighty, let's say everything is wonky this week. The Colts beat the Bills. The Washington beats the Panthers. The Bears beat the Ravens. The Lions beat the Browns. The Jags beat the 49ers. The Vikings beat the Packers. The Jets beat the Dolphins. We'll say the Saints beat the Eagles. That's an upset. Texans beat the Titans. Raiders are the upset. They are the underdog here this week, correct? Raiders beat the Bengals. Cowboys underdogs beat the Chiefs. Seahawks beat the Cardinals. Steelers beat the Chargers, and the Giants beat the Bucs. What happens if all the craziness that shouldn't happen do happen? What happens then? Well, the Titans still stay the number 1 seed in the AFC, so the Titans are not going to lose their spot. Titans, you do whatever you want this week. You're still going to be the number 1 seed. That feels pretty good, but you can also widen your gap with the win, so definitely try and do that. Steelers could get to the number 2 seed this week. How crazy would that be? Steelers at the 2 seed, Patriots at the 3 seed, Raiders at the 4 seed. Raiders, who could potentially not even be in the playoffs this week, could get to the 4th seed. Ravens at the 5th seed, Bills drop down to the 6th seed, and the Colts drop down or get into the playoffs at the 7th seed. So if you're a Bills fan, it's good. If you win or lose, you're still pretty much in the playoff picture. And then in the NFC, the Cowboys could potentially get that number 1 seed with the win, a Packers loss, and a Cardinals loss. The Cowboys can get that number 1 seed. We hope they can achieve that. Packers would fall down to seed number 2. Cardinals fall down to seed number 3. Saints go to seed 4. Rams still stay at seed number 5. Bucs stay at seed 6, and the Vikings sneak in at seed number 7. So a lot of things could happen this week. The only thing that's really for certain is Titans stay number 1 seed. And yeah, I don't. There's no way that this Titans could really lose this number 1 seed this week. So anything that happens, Titans will be the number 1 seed this week in the AFC. Everything else is really up for debate, up for change. Rams being the 5th seed really is kind of in place as well. Those are really the only 2 things that will stay for certain 100% at minimum this week. Alrighty,